There is a version of your life that never started, because you never finished grieving the one you lost. Not through death, through change. A relationship that ended. A career that didn't go the way you planned. A version of your family you thought you'd have by now. The Stoics had a name for this. They called it attachment to preferred indifference. Things that feel essential to your peace but are not. Things you hold so tightly that you stop moving. This video is about the most difficult skill a human being can develop: letting go. Not giving up, not forgetting, letting go. And why your future is literally being held hostage by your past until you do. Chapter 1. Why we hold on. The brain doesn't distinguish between emotional pain and physical pain. Neuroscience has confirmed what the Stoics knew centuries ago. Loss activates the same neural pathways as injury. So when you're clinging to something, a memory, a person, a version of yourself, your nervous system is treating it like a wound that hasn't healed. And just like a physical wound, if you keep reopening it, it never closes. But here's the deeper problem. We don't hold on to things because we're weak. We hold on because holding on once worked. At some point in your life, loyalty kept you safe. Persistence paid off. Refusing to quit led to a breakthrough. Your brain catalogued that. It created a rule. Hold on, it gets better. And sometimes that rule is right. But sometimes, and this is what the Stoics tried to warn us about, that same rule becomes the prison. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The outside event is gone. The person left. The job ended. The family you imagined didn't materialize. But your mind is still managing it. Still negotiating with a reality that no longer exists. That's the cost of holding on. You're not just carrying the past, you're living in it. Chapter 2. Family. The oldest weight. Family is where the deepest holding happens, because it's where the deepest expectations are born. You had a vision. Maybe it was a close relationship with a parent who was distant. Maybe it was a sibling bond that fractured. Maybe it was the family you were going to build, the house, the dinners, the version of parenthood that looked different in your mind than it does in reality. And somewhere along the way, you started grieving that vision, but you never buried it. Here's what holding on looks like in family. You keep returning to the same conversations, hoping for a different outcome. You keep editing your past in your head. If I had said this, if they had done that. You keep waiting for an apology that may never come. You keep measuring your present self against wounds that were inflicted on a younger version of you. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus grew up as a slave. His childhood held nothing he chose, and yet his entire philosophy was built around one truth. You cannot control what happened to you. You can only control what you do next. This doesn't mean cutting people off. It doesn't mean pretending the wound didn't happen. It means this: the story your family handed you is not the story you have to keep telling. You are allowed to love someone and still put down the weight of what they couldn't give you. You are allowed to grieve the family you wanted while building something real with the one you have, or the one you're creating. Moving forward doesn't require resolution. It only requires a decision. I will not let the past write the next chapter. Chapter 3. Relationships. The hardest goodbye. Romantic attachment is where letting go becomes almost physically impossible for most people. And there's a reason for that. When you bond deeply with another person, your brain integrates them into your sense of self. Neuroscientist Helen Fisher's research showed that the same dopamine systems activated by cocaine are activated during early romantic love, and the same withdrawal patterns happen when that love ends. You're not being dramatic. You are, neurologically, in withdrawal. But here is what the Stoics would say, and this is brutal, and it's necessary. You are not grieving the person. You are grieving the projection. Think about that carefully. The thing you miss most, is it who they were or who you believed they would become? Is it the relationship you had or the relationship you imagined you were building toward? Is it them or the version of yourself you felt like when you were with them? Most of the time, when we can't let go of a person, we are protecting a narrative, the narrative that we were on the right path, that we chose correctly, that we weren't wrong about something we invested years of our life in. Letting go of the person means letting go of that story. And that story is attached to your identity. This is why people stay, not because of love alone, but because leaving requires admitting the story needs to be rewritten. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about romantic love often, but he wrote constantly about impermanence. Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. That person, that relationship, it was a season. It served something. Maybe it broke you open. Maybe it taught you what you actually need. Maybe it was exactly right for who you were. And now you are someone different. Moving forward doesn't mean you were wrong to love them. It means you're honest enough to acknowledge that chapter is finished and a closed book can't be written in. Chapter 4. Career, the identity trap. Career holding is the most socially invisible because the world rewards it with words like dedication and loyalty and not a quitter. But there's a difference between commitment and entrapment. Here's what career holding looks like. You stay in a role that stopped growing you 2 years ago because leaving feels like failure. You hold on to a business that's been dying slowly because you've already told everyone it's going to work. You keep pursuing a path, law, medicine, corporate, academia, that your 22-year-old self chose while your 35-year-old self barely recognizes it. The Stoics called this the sunk cost of the soul. Every year you stay where you don't belong, you are spending something you cannot recover, time and the version of yourself that could have existed. The real pain isn't starting over. The real pain is realizing how long you've been standing still while calling it progress. Seneca wrote, "It is not that I'm brave enough to face death, it is that I've learned not to be afraid of change." Here's the permission structure you've been waiting for. Starting over is not failure. It is the correction. The failure is staying in something misaligned and calling it integrity. That career pivot you've been afraid of, the one that scares you because it makes no sense on a resume, that fear is information. It means something real is pulling you somewhere else. Letting go of a career identity is terrifying because for most people, what you do is who you are. Strip that away and you have to answer a question most people spend their entire lives avoiding: who am I without the role? The Stoics would say that is exactly the question you should have been asking all along. Chapter 5. The practice, how to actually let go. Letting go is not a feeling, it is a practice. Here's how to build it. 1. Name what you're actually holding. Most people are vague about what they can't release. Get specific. Write it down. Is it a person, a version of yourself, an outcome you expected, a narrative you built? You cannot put down something you haven't clearly identified. 2. Distinguish the wound from the weight. The wound is real. It happened. It hurt. It shaped you. The weight is what you've been carrying after the wound. You can honor the wound and still put down the weight. These are different things. 3. Practice the Stoic negative visualization, i.e. put forward. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, imagining loss in advance to reduce its grip. Now do it in reverse. Imagine yourself after the release. Not the pain of letting go, the life that exists on the other side. What does it look like? Who are you in it? That image is your direction. 4. Make one irreversible move. The mind holds on as long as it believes the door might still open. Make one move that signals to yourself, this chapter is finished. Delete the thread, take the meeting, submit the application, say the thing. The irreversibility is the medicine. It teaches your nervous system that forward is real. 5. Accept that grief and growth coexist. Letting go doesn't mean you stop missing something. It means you stop letting the missing prevent the moving. You can grieve a relationship and date again. You can miss the career and build the new one. These are not contradictions. They are what healing actually looks like. Not the absence of sadness, but the presence of forward motion despite it. Epictetus, a man who had everything taken from him, his freedom, his choices, his body, left us with this. Seek not that the things which happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things which happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life. But this is not surrender. This is the most radical act of power a human being can perform. To look at what is gone, the family you grieved, the person you loved, the career you thought would define you, and say, this happened, it is real, and I am choosing to move. You are not what you've lost. You are what you do after the loss. The Stoics didn't promise that letting go would be easy. They promised it was the only path to a life you actually own. Start there.